A tough loss for the Spurs last night, losing to the Sixers in Philadelphia. One of the strangest games I've seen in a really long time. Now, the Spurs competed, but it just wasn't enough to close out the game. We'll get into what happened and what the Spurs faced before their Christmas Day game. This is the Spurs Digest family. I am Bryan Colbert here with another Spurs Digest Postgame show. These are always rough after a loss. However, I do still think there are a ton of interesting things to talk about, especially with how that first half went. I'm sure you've seen the tweets. I'm sure you've seen the headline. Joel Embiid gets ejected. He loses his mind. But it was more than that. There was a lot going on in that first half, and I want to talk about it because a lot of that had to do with the way Wemby was playing and how frustrating it is to guard and go up against a guy like that. Like, I don't know if everybody's reading it this way, but to me, it's one of my favorite things about the unicorn that is Wemby is what do you do with him? How do you guard him? How do you take him out of the game? And I think that had a lot to do with what we saw in that first half. So let's get right into it because, like I said, well, he got ejected, but it didn't start there. Andre Drummond was getting into it with Wemby, and they were going back and forth and talking, and Wemby was doing his thing. And I'm telling you, even though Wemby's so young, I love it, man. I love the fact that he's not scared to mix it up with these guys. That he's not scared to, stick his chest out and say what he needs to say. To me, that is what a dominant big is. And I think when Wemby starts getting that attitude, that grit, that's when we really gonna see, the best big man that we've probably ever seen. Like, that's really how great Wemby can be. And so he's getting under Drummond's skin, and they're going at it, and they're arguing, they're talking, they're hitting each other. And the ref tells him, hey, man, you gotta chill. He gets attacked. And then they're down on the low post, they're down the block. They're about to do an inbound play from the baseline, and Wemby essentially tripped, which is what's going to happen when you have like a size 20 shoe and you're like 7'5" and you're running at full speed. So he trips and falls. But it looks like, especially from this ref's angle, it looks as if Drummond tripped him. Like, it looks as if Drummond tripped Wemby. But really, Wemby just kind of like fell over his like own feet. But the ref sees it and immediately ejects Andre Drummond. And everybody is going crazy. Nick Nurse is losing his mind, the Sixers head coach. Losing his mind. It's crazy. They eject Andre Drummond. He goes off the court, goes into the locker room. And, of course, Philly is still going nuts, so they end up reviewing the play. They end up reviewing the play and seeing that Wemby just tripped. But what the weirdest part was, again, he just tripped. I don't think it was a flop at all. They actually said he was flopping, and they allowed Andre Drummond to come back into the game, which is something guys have never seen. I have never seen a player get ejected, go to the locker room, and then get asked to come back and play. Not only did he get asked to come back and play, when he came back, he was on the court immediately. It was like he came back and sat on the bench. He came back on the court. And I don't know if that's like a type of rule that they have with the NBA. It was just a very weird sequence. And then after that, things just domino effected. Because now the Sixers are ramped up. Now the Sixers are annoyed. And not too long after, Joel Embiid drives inside, barrels inside like he likes to do, this massive human, and just bulldozes Wemby. Like an obvious, clear charge. But again, this happened right after all the stuff about the Drummond. So the same rep calls the foul. He runs up on him, screaming and yelling. As you can see, and he's very, very close to it. Now, there was other pictures. I didn't want to use it because, again, we got to be very careful. This could be somebody's mother, somebody's wife, definitely somebody's daughter. So I didn't want to do too much with the photos because Embiid, to me, man, you was a 7-foot man. You don't need to be running up on no woman like that. I don't care how you feeling. Yes, it's the heat of the game, it's the battle of the game, but Embiid was just doing too much. Especially, bro, you charged, bro. It was a charge, man. Like, you gotta let that one go in the charge. However, he gets in her face, he's yelling, man. He's like right here, right in her mid, and she rejects it. She's like, dude, there's no business for that. And who knows what Embiid was saying to her, the names he was calling, all that stuff, and then he lost it. Throws his mask. He's fighting through coaches. He's yelling at her. I don't know what he was going to do. Were he going to run up on her and hit her? Like, I don't understand what he thought he was doing, but he was losing his top, and then he gets ejected. All this is in the first half. So I'm seeing on Twitter, I'm seeing on Reddit, people are saying like, oh man, this is the chance. This is the Spurs' chance. And B's not even in. This is their chance. But when I'm watching this, I know how the NBA is. I know how momentum swings. I know how energy is. When stuff like that happens, it rallies a team. And that's what it did. When this happened, it rallied the Sixers and forced other guys to step up Because when you look at what the Spurs did, when you look at what we were able to do tonight, I mean, we had a full game. I mean, you look at the things that we talk about each and every pregame about what we want to see from the Spurs. They still move the ball well. They still were hitting their shots. I mean, a couple guys were struggling to shoot, but I mean, we talk about Wemby hitting those shots. I mean, 6 for 13 from the three. Well, we're okay. We'll take that. We're okay with that because, again, I've told y'all over and over again the importance of Wemby being able to stretch the floor and how that creates space for everybody else. So you see the things that, you want your Spurs to do, and you say, okay, they did some of those things right. However, there was still plenty of things they did where you're like, okay, you got to put up on that. And to me, the biggest thing that stood out to me was the turnover discrepancy because the Spurs just had 18 turnovers. They had 18 turnovers with 19 points conceded off of turnovers. And that is something that we see too often from the Spurs team this season. But I think it's just part of having a young team. I think it's part of the way they move the ball, the way that they're constantly passing. Sometimes they make too many passes. Sometimes they don't make the right pass. That's what it is. But those are things that are fixable. And again, you are playing against a Sixers team who actually just got really their big three back and allowed them to play. And Embiid, Paul George, and Tyrese Maxey. Then you have all those things happen. That galvanizes the team. To me, I watched this game and I say it's more about just what the Sixers did and less about what the Spurs did. I mean, Tyrese Maxey just became a freak out there. He was able to ball out. And it was really, really tough to slow that down. I mean, he was just all over the place. But again, those turnovers. I believe Maxey got a steal that led to like a little run that allowed the Sixers to get that lead. And those are the things, those are the mistakes you can't have happen because, yes, I understand. Philly is 10 and 17. But this is not a 10 and 17 team. This is a playoff team that's been injured, that's been banged up. So when you look at this game, don't panic. Don't think, oh, we're not a good team. No, that's not the case at all. This was just a Philly team that had a win coming, that had the momentum on their side, that had all of these things going against them. They just worked out. But there was plenty of things I saw that I liked from the Spurs, that I liked from this game. I thought it was very, very interesting. You going back to that starting lineup with Vassell and Jeremy Sochan. I think you need more consistency from Harrison Barnes. 0 points in the start at 0 for 5, all from 3-point line. That can't happen. I mean, we've seen what Harrison Barnes really needs, especially with those open shots. And for some reason, these ones just weren't falling. And honestly, outside of Champagne and Wemby, they weren't falling for anybody. I mean, Jeremy Sochan hit one. 2 for 5 for Chris Paul, 1 for 5 for Devin Vassell. Things that just are not normal. But I love what I saw from Stephon Castle coming off the bench. I really like him as a starter. I really think that there's value in him being a starter, especially his rookie year with the things that he's doing, the things that are asking to do. However, I was very impressed to see that no matter what role he's asked to do, he steps up and does it. He steps up and does it in a big way. And honestly, I can see in the future one day Castle being that guy that takes Maxey out the game, that's able to defend him. I think Jeremy Sochan did a fine job. I'm a big Jeremy Sochan fan, especially for his defensive ability, just all the little things he does. But I'd love to see Castle be that guy to, you know what I'm saying, like come out there and become that like lockdown perimeter defender the Spurs so desperately need. I mean, he's just such a good player, man. He had this one lob with Ridley that was just tough. I mean, that was another thing we talked about is the slow start. To me, the slow start really hurt the Spurs because if they were able to get off to a hotter start, I think that you would have seen, a bigger deficit. And I don't know if the Sixers would have been able to overcome that deficit the way they were able to do. Because that second and third quarter for the Sixers, I mean, they were really doing their thing. But I love the fight that we showed in that fourth. But Wemby getting off to such a slow start, I mean, it took him a while to get his first bucket. That really hurt. But even on that side, even with that, I love seeing Wemby doing all the right things on defense. He was getting blocks, he was getting rebounds, he was doing all that stuff. Yeah, he had 0 points, but he had 7 blocks. Like in the first quarter, in the first half, it was crazy. So those are the kind of things that are very, very impressive. He ended with 8 blocks. So there are great things that you can see in this game, but just know, I don't think that this is the Spurs are about to start losing a ton of games. I don't think it's that. I think it was the Sixers had momentum on their side. And let's not forget, the Spurs have won 4 of their last 6 games, 4 of their last 6 games, and their next game is on Christmas Day. Now, to me, that's very, very important because, of course, we got to move past this loss. The loss happened, it's done. However, the New York Knicks, they're a tough team, but the stage that Wemby is going to be able to be on, these Christmas Day games in the NBA are just different. They just hit different. Stars are made here, man. How many times did you watch LeBron when he was young out there playing, doing this thing on Christmas Day? And it was just exciting. Kobe playing on Christmas Day. It's just exciting. And to me, I think Wemby has a chance to, again, continue to show why he's one of the best, not just young fella, not just big men, but one of the best NBA players in the league. I'm so excited to see this matchup against the Knicks because, again, Christmas Day, there's just something about it. There's magic there. They're going to be in NYC. They're going to be on ESPN. And they're going to be fighting against a really good Knicks team. So, like, I'm not scared of these battles. I'm not scared of these smoke. The Knicks are on a 4-game win streak. They won 5 of their last 6 games. What a test for these young fellas. And that is why I just, I probably sound more excited and optimistic after a loss than most people do. But it's because I can see the future of what this team is becoming and what this team is doing. You don't think after a loss like that, after a scrappy game like that, the Spurs are going to come out and do everything they can to beat the Knicks? Come on, man. On Christmas Day, you're playing the New York Knicks on Christmas Day. You're thinking, these are the things you dreamt of, and I know he is going to rise to the occasion. So, yes, this was a weird game. Yes, this was a tough loss for the Spurs. However, there is still a lot of season left. There's a lot on the horizon. Again, we're looking at a team that has won 4 of their last 6 games. They go out to New York on Christmas Day. And get a win. Man, I know Spurs fans, and not just Spurs fans, but the national media will be all over this team because, again, all eyes will be on these young fellas. I know Keldon steps up for these moments. You know Chris Paul steps up for this moment. I can't see what Castle does on his first really, really big game, on his first Christmas Day game. Jeremy Sochan, I cannot wait to see these guys go out there and compete against a really, really tough New York team. The Spurs gave me a very, very strange game, a very, very strange loss. However, I do think the Spurs are going to be coming with momentum. That same kind of momentum Philly had playing them last night, I think the Spurs are coming with momentum against the Knicks. They're going to need it because the Knicks are a very, very tough team. But I think the Spurs team is a tough team. I think the Spurs team is a scary team. I think that's why you see so much scrappiness, why you see so many guys upset and frustrated. The Spurs aren't scared of nobody. These young cats aren't scared of anybody. They walk around with that swagger and that attitude. And I think that, like, a lot of that comes from Chris Paul. Chris Paul's always like that. He's always had that swagger. That, I'm smaller than everybody else, but I'm out here and I'm a dog. And this first team is full of dogs. So cannot wait to talk to y'all on Christmas Day. Ain't nothing better than opening your gifts, eating good food, and watching good food. That's what we're going to see right there. I guarantee you that Spurs Knicks game is going to be great. Cannot wait to see our guys on the big stage playing on Christmas Day. Shake off this loss and move forward. Spurs Digest. I am Bryan Colbert here with the Spurs Digest Postgame show. We love the support. We love the comment. Make sure you comment. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you talk to us. We want to hear from y'all. And last but not least, I hope you guys have an amazing holiday. And I can't wait to talk to y'all on Christmas Day. Go Spurs, go.